Live visuals coming in from Nilakal. These are the visuals that you can see. It seems to be some kind of unrest which is happening. As you can see, a lot of these devotees are running away. We are trying to get more details as to what really happened on the ground. Remember, at Nilakal, that's where all the buses are being stopped by some of the devotees. And then there are people who are forcing women to get off these buses, halting their journey. Even news crews and reporters, women reporters, have been attacked from across several channels. In fact, let's go across to Shilpa, who's joining us. Shilpa, if you can get us a sense of the situation on ground, considering there's just 1 hour, 1.5 hours before the Sanctum Sanctorum is open to one and all.
Well, that's right, Meghna. There is only, 1.5 hours left for the Sanctum Sanctorum to be open at the Sabarimala temple, and the pujas will begin at 5 p.m. sharp. But clearly the situation on ground is extremely tense. You can see from the visuals that are playing out on our screens that, the situation is extremely tense, especially at Nilakal. There is a standoff between the police officials and the protesters who are gathered here because, for the past 2-3 hours, these protesters have been pelting stones at the police officials, at the vehicles that have been parked there. And many women journalists were also abused and threatened and intimidated by these protesters. And several women devotees who were traveling in buses were also forcefully dragged out of these buses by these protesters who gathered at the Nilakal base camp. And what we're given to understand at this point in time is that the DGP Loknath Behra has ordered for more police deployment in Nilakal, considering the law and order situation there. And 4 SPs are also being rushed to the spot to make sure that the situation remains under control. But clearly from those visuals, you can see as to how the law and order situation there is deteriorating. The protesters are in no mood to relent. They are refusing to leave Nilakal base camp. They are, of course, saying that they will not allow any women devotee to enter Sabarimala temple as it is against the traditions of the temple and it is against the religious sentiments of the devotees. But the Kerala police, of course, is maintaining that, women devotees will be allowed inside and there will be no issue at all. But then clearly the scenes that are unfolding in Nilakal and other places in Kerala tell a completely different story.
Absolutely. These are the visuals that you can see on the grounds. And Shilpa, a price of all the intimidation, the threats, in some cases the attacks and the assaults that women journalists have faced in Nilakal, and all of it because they were doing their job.
Well, that's right, Meghna. In fact, women journalists from across TV channels, be it the national media or the regional media, are being, attacked by the protesters and the localites there. In fact, some of them were dragged out of their vehicles and they were abused and heckled. And, these women journalists, in fact, tried explaining to them that they were there only to do their job, to report about this issue, but they were in no mood to listen to these journalists.
Right. In fact, do stay on with us. Let's go across to Madhav also. I believe he's got more inputs. Madhav?
Well, one thing is very clear, the kind of law and order situation that we're seeing at this point of time, Meghna. Those pictures at that petrol pump where you saw a large number of the devotees, in fact, charging, the police charging behind them, very clearly goes to show what the Kerala cops have been up to. It is their job to have ensured that there are no large congregations that take place. Those who are stopping women devotees are kept at bay. And despite knowing that there are huge numbers of these protesters who have been there for the past several days, what were the Kerala cops doing? That's a question that needs to be asked. They have allowed all of those devotees to today in the morning go and stop women from actually entering. They've actually attacked female journalists as well. And now the Kerala police, this late in the day, swinging into action, is only going to raise questions about whether it is too little too late. There is a crackdown that is on at Nilakal, as you see in those live pictures. Now policemen with riot gear who are coming out to keep the protesters and move them out of that particular location. The question is just this, that whether the police should have done this perhaps yesterday in preparation for the fact that the temple opens in just a little over an hour from now at 5 o'clock. That is the big question. Now, the kind of situation that you see where devotees are running helter-skelter, male devotees, there you see them who are running out. These are the people who are blocking the roads. This is an area where, in fact, the Western Ghats sees, a large number of forested areas as well. And you can see those devotees, those who have been scattered from that area of Nilakal because of the police, now they've actually gone up towards the forested areas and perhaps closer to the tea gardens that are present over there. Whether all of this could have very clearly been avoided by the police remains to be seen, and whether there should have been better arrangements. Just look at those pictures there, where in fact you see those protesters who are being dispersed by the cops. You see the charge there by the police, large number of them running in, forcing the devotees to evacuate that area where they were perhaps blocking the entry of women from Nilakal. Remember, Nilakal is in fact a few kilometers downhill from Pampa, and this is the key access point for Pampa from where devotees actually go, and that is where we understand a large amount of the protesters had gathered since morning, preventing not just female devotees but also women journalists from actually doing the job, whereas they are very clearly allowed to go all the way up to Pampa. It's only beyond that women are actually restricted from entering on their way up to Sabarimala. So what will really transpire on ground remains to be seen, Meghna.
Absolutely. Madhav, since you are well aware and you're familiar with the area, if you can give us a sense of where these visuals are coming in, how far is it from the main entrance, how long does it take? Give us a sense of what we can expect from here onwards. Even as we speak to you, heavy police personnel, you can see huge troops of them who are rushing in. In fact, we have a reaction coming in from Congress leader Ramesh Channithala. He has been spearheading Kerala Congress's protest against Sabarimala opening for all.